Hey everybody, this is the Alex Manassa. Hope you don't mind, I've switched the style up a little bit. I got rid of the glasses because of the glare. I don't have contact lenses, so I'm just blind as a bat. I'm pretty sure that's a microphone. Pretty sure that's a camera. I think this is a bottle of water. I'm going to drink it anyway. I'll let you know how it goes. Yeah, definitely not motor oil. I want to talk to you today about masculinity and teaching. Before I get started, feel free to hit the like button or subscribe if you want to hear more of just sane, rational, not so angry, good, smooth takes on what's happening in the world, because we need a lot less anger and a lot more sense-making, if you know what I mean. All right, so masculinity and teaching. I'm sure you guys have noticed that, I say guys, to me that's a non-gendered word, right? That means all y'all, all right? I can just say all y'all, too. Notice that most of your teachers are women. Now, that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Definitely don't read in what I'm saying here in this video is that having mostly teachers who are women is a bad thing, because it is absolutely not. But I'll say that diversity is a good thing. Now, that's not too controversial. Hopefully I haven't lost too many people here. Diversity can be a good thing. And having a male teacher, is a big change in your diversity. I think that having a male teacher, someone who has been soaked in the womb with testosterone, different chemicals completely, just marinating in those hormones, and then really ramping that up around 12 years old when they're growing up, and then they decide to become a teacher. That kind of gives you an entire demographic of representation that you would not otherwise reach. Do you think there might be a pattern as to why more women go into college versus men, and there are more women teachers in primary school and all the way up through high school, and that fewer men are teachers? I think there might be a pattern there, a little representation pattern. I'm going to blow your mind here in a second. And I'm going to say that men also have totally different minds. I know, that's crazy. You can't say that these days. But I just said it because I'm an engineer and I just say things that are true. It's absolutely true. Men and women are very different. If you have a man's sleepover with boys, it's very different from a sleepover with girls. Sleepover with girls usually result in someone breaking a bone. At least not the sleepovers I've heard about. If you have had a girl's sleepover and things got rowdy and someone broke their bones, please let me know in the comments, because that sounds like a good story. But men and women do think differently a little bit. And let me tell you the advantages of a male, and I'm talking about a male masculine teacher. There are a lot of men who have had their masculinity is not as pronounced as other men. You ever notice that? Like, you've got Mr. Rogers and Jesse Ventura. They're on it's on a scale. I'm not saying that Mr. Rogers is effeminate. I'm just saying he's not super duper masculine. He's definitely a man, but he's not like busting out and really going for it, right? Whereas Jesse Ventura, like circa the Predator, that's more like, that's kind of that's another extreme. Whose neighborhood do you want to live in, though? I'm not saying masculinity is a good thing, right? You don't want to live in Jesse Ventura's neighborhood. I'm sure there's a grenade launcher at dawn. He's just running by and calls you a dirty name, insults you. Actually, that would be pretty great. Jesse Ventura's Neighborhood sounds like a great show. I digress. You're going to have a different kind of mindset. And let me tell you what that mindset is of the masculine teacher. It is men are very much pro-conflict, but it is pro-constructive conflict. Okay? We don't shy away from conflict, but we do want to channel it and make it productive. Whereas I feel like if you're not as masculine, you're trying to just get rid of the conflict. Hey, don't fight. Talk to me after class. I think as a man who is masculine myself, I actually view conflict as a really good learning opportunity in the classroom. I will stop and derail my own lesson plan if a student is having a conflict about the material, right? If a student is like, no, that's not a good way of doing things, I will stop, because that discussion is way more valuable than whatever I was about to say. I was going to give you stuff that you could probably just read and figure it on your own, right? But a conflict, you have to be present for. Conflict, and I'm talking about just a good argument, like I think the airfoil should be this way shaped, and someone says the airfoil should be this way shaped. And they're like, this person says, no, you get more lift. This person says, no, you get less drag. And then we have a little argument. That's the kind of conflict I'm talking about. I'm not talking about interpersonal conflict. I'm not talking about getting personal. It can get heated. Engineers do have fist fights. I have nearly seen one. It involves somebody discharging a battery that was under test when they weren't supposed to discharge it. That was probably the angriest I've ever seen a 50-year-old man get to another man. I thought we were going to call HR. So those are stories from work. Anyways, other job, not my current job. Everyone's a wonderful human being in my current job. What I'm talking about is conflict that is about the material, right? I would stop the whole class to hear that out, because you have to be present for a good argument. You have to be present for a good debate. It's a fluid thing. It's like sparring, right? Men also like to spar. If you anybody can sign up for a martial arts class. Anybody can sign up. There are no barriers that I know of about signing up for a martial arts class. I would bet you $100 right now. Any viewer out there want to take this bet that more men are enrolled in contact martial arts than non-contact martial arts. Men want to make contact. We want to spar. We will fight and have a fist fight, and then at the end of the fight, regardless of whoever wins, we're walking away friends. That's a weird superpower that masculinity seems to have, is that we can have a conflict and then it's just over like that. And a lot of women are kind of jealous of that. I don't know why. It's just like there's a certain grudge or something, or they want to keep it on the back burner and just simmer that anger for a long time. Men are very explosive, and then it's usually over. All right. Usually, right? These are all just general rules, okay? This conflict is the root of how we decipher truth. You have to put two ideas together and bash them together, right? If you look at some of the history of philosophy, you'll see that Diogenes was a huge troll. I forget if it was Socrates or Plato that said that a human is a chicken without feathers, which is preposterous by our standards today. But you got to remember, they didn't actually have biology back then. They would just make assertions and then argue about it. And then Diogenes just goes out and grabs a live chicken, plucks it, and then shows up into the great philosophy hall and says, "Behold, a man." That's a man thing to do. You had to go find a chicken. Then you had to pluck it live and then present it. That poor chicken. By the way, they didn't have PETA back then. He probably was going to eat that chicken right afterwards. Using your lunch as a prop to win an argument sounds like a pretty man thing to do. That's man think. We call it man think. Men also believe in fighting for hierarchy. So the idea that the teacher is the leader just because of their title is preposterous. We don't really believe that. So every time a teacher walks into that classroom, they're gonna try and earn that place. You'll definitely get office citations if you're disruptive or being a jerk. And some teachers are definitely more irate than others, and they'll write you off and say, "I'm the teacher, you do what I tell you to do." Because there are definitely jerk men out there that do that. But it's more of a masculine thing to have an actual argument with your student and go back and forth and fight. That's productive masculinity. I believe that there's productive and destructive elements of both aspects of masculinity and femininity. And you have to get the best. That's why you have diversity, though, because I feel like when you're diverse in terms of gender, you tend to bring out the best of each other, right? If you're grown, fully developed adults, fully mature, not getting into drama. Masculinity is definitely something that's missing from school, and that's why you notice that a lot of people these days who come out of the school system are terrible at arguments. They're terrible at having a good, rational argument where they can disagree, and then at the end of it, they're okay. It feels like nowadays when I disagree with somebody, I feel like I'm offending their religion, and not even like a normal offending their religion. I feel like I've like drawn Muhammad, and they're going to go crazy on me, right? That's what I feel like, and I don't like that. I want people to get along, but we have to disagree to find the best ideas. Is that too much to ask? I don't think so. But then again, I'm just an engineer who's thinking out loud. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you want to subscribe and hear more of this sane, rational discussion, feel free to hit subscribe. And if you want to leave a comment and continue the discussion, I do check your comments, and I love reading them. I think I've got like 6 subscribers right now, so I got oodles of time. And I value each and every one of you guys. And have a great day, all right? Peace.